Forbidden Door. Oh,
Holy shit!
Let's just go right into the hype. Oh, I've got a lot to say, and I'm sure you do too. I'm Socal Honey Badger, and this is
Ryan Stone. Yeah, let's jump right into it. So a lot of matches, So this will probably be an extra long episode. We'll see. Let's see how long we could talk about these things. I'm going to start with the buy-in matches. Did you happen to catch those?
You know what? I didn't. I forgot the buy-in. Fuck. Was there Ass Boys versus some Young Lions?
Dude, there was 4 matches.
Holy shit.
So, all right. So first match, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeated the team of The Factory, which was Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. I don't care what anybody says. QT Marshall is a good in-ring worker, man. I enjoy his matches. They ain't the flippiest, but damn it, they're solid, and he doesn't fuck shit up at all.
I love QT. I don't know why people hate him. I mean, I get that he's kind of dry and has kind of a boring heel character, but that's kind of the point. Like, he's very old-fashioned, old-school style heel, and I like it. Like, he's like I don't get why he's not as over as FTR, because he's basically FTR if they were a solo act.
Well, FTR is a little bit more personality, but I enjoy QT. You know, I've watched him on Sammy Guevara's vlogs,
as far as
he's actually entertaining.
Well, I'm saying
dude, his in-ring work, the motherfucker does a Sasuke special.
Damn.
I mean, it ain't perfect. The motherfucker kind of cartwheels over the top rope and off the apron.
Okay.
He ain't Ospreay doing it, but I can't do that shit. You can't do that shit. He can.
Well, I'm just saying that he's an old-fashioned heel. Like, I liken his work to kind of like Arn Anderson's solo work. That's why I say
I'd say so.
If FTR was a solo act, like if it was just Dax or just Cash, like they're basically doing what QT Marshall's doing.
Basically.
And
so he's just a solid in-ring worker.
He's not. I don't get it. People hate him, but they love FTR, and I'm like, there's not much difference between the two acts.
Here's the thing, though. He's an office worker. He works, I think he's like Tony's right-hand man. So, like, honestly, this is just a bonus for him, and he helps teach at the Nightmare Factory. So, hell, the Nightmare Factory was his school. Cody bought in on it and changed it to the Nightmare Factory. Next match was one that I was really fond of. It wasn't long, but it was good. 2 big men. 2 big, meaty men slapping meat. Lance Archer defeated Nick Camarado.
Ooh, wow.
Dude, go back and watch this one. It ain't special. It ain't like you're gonna like come home and go, holy shit. But man, dude, it's 2 massive men. Dude, Archer is able to get Camarado up in his finish, and dude, it looked good. It was a good match.
Awesome. I'm a big proponent for Camarado. I think he's got a lot of potential, and
he does.
He's still really green, so I see why they don't do much with him. But if he can kind of like tighten up some of his execution, I think he's got the look, and he's definitely got he's got the personality. He makes that whole whatever he's doing, he makes it work for me.
I agree with you. I agree. And Lance Archer should be on everybody's roster. He's the fucking man.
Yeah, I'm not even going to speak on that. Lance is great.
Next was Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeating Suzuki-gun, which was El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. They are former IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, multi-time. Desperado is a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Swerve in Our Glory, I think they got an interesting story going on with Swerve eliminating Lee from the Casino Battle Royale a few weeks back. The one that was to determine who would go face Moxley to go face Tanahashi, basically. So it was interesting seeing that Keith and Swerve trying to, repair. And I think they're going to build to something with it, but they're keeping them together for the time being.
Well, it looks like they're building to a breakup with Swerve doing the heel turn. Which I'm excited for because I love them as a tag team. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But, they didn't put the belts on them, and I don't see them putting the belts on them anytime soon. So it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with them as a tag team? I like them, but it looks like they're not going to do anything with it. So, yeah, let's move towards this turn because they're both great as solo wrestlers anyway.
I honestly think that they're a team just because they didn't have any room in the solo side for them. And they wanted them on TV. They wanted the fans to keep them fresh in the fans' minds. So instead of having them as a solo act, you can have them as a tag team in the background while you build them up to the solo act. And then your first feud off the bat when they go solos is against each other. Not a bad thing. You could absolutely milk 6, 8, 9 months out of this.
Well, and also it looks like they're using this tag team to get over Team Taz because Team Taz is regularly beating them, and I imagine that's going to be the catalyst to break them up. They're going to lose, their final match to Team Taz, and it's like, well, God damn it, we can never beat Team Taz. Now we're going to break up, and Team Taz gets elevated, and they get to go do their solo thing. So I like where this is going. If that's where
I think that the thing with Team Taz is going to take a little bit longer to get to, but yeah, I eventually see Team Taz winning the feud, and then that'll break up Swerve in Our Glory. Maybe they'll do another feud before they break up. I don't know, but the breakup's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
Last match of the buy-in: Max Caster and the Gun Club, which consisted of Billy Ass, Austin Ass, and Colton Ass. They defeated Yuya Uemura and the New Japan LA Dojo, which was Alex Coughlin, Kevin Knight, and the DKC. The thing I liked about this match was at the very beginning. So match was about to start. All of a sudden, Danhausen appears on the screen. And he goes, I've got a present for you guys. It's a new song for the Ass Boys. It's basically a ripoff of Billy Gunn's WWF theme, the Ass Man, but Ass Boys.
Oh,
Billy Ass and the Ass Boys is the name of the song. Go on, if you could find it, go watch it on YouTube. It's hilarious. Dude. But when he did it, Austin and Colton Gunn left the ring. So it just left Billy and Max Caster against the other four. So Billy and Max still won the match. Obviously, it's against a bunch of young lions, except for Alex Coughlin. He's recently graduated from the LA Dojo. So he was actually one of the few in actual gear and not just black trunks. But yeah, fun match. Easy 4 matches for the 1 hour buy-in. I thought it was very good. The buy-in didn't seem like it was too long. It wasn't like just filled with commentating and video packages. Like I said, you got 4 matches out of the 1 hour buy-in. And you got the video packages in between. I thought it was great.
This is on YouTube, right?
Free. Yeah, absolutely free.
This is one thing that should be called out for AEW. Like, they're kind of doing the Sunday Night Heat thing, but actually giving us fucking legit canon, like, shit. Like, Sunday Night Heat never fucking mattered, right? It's like, oh, wow, Billy Kidman won the Cruiserweight belt, and, like, nobody fucking cares, right? But, like, these buy-ins are actually dope, and they're on YouTube. And AEW, man, for as fucked up and fucking spoilery as their thumbnails are, I gotta give it up to them for them putting some actual fucking content that's worth watching on their YouTube. WWE just has clips, and yeah, their clips do well, but AEW gives you actual content, and I love that.
I will give this to WWE. Their pre-shows are free and on YouTube. So you can watch them on, like, I want to say, like, Facebook Live, YouTube, and all of that for free. The only difference is, I think, at least with the Forbidden Door, you had 4 good matches on that show, whereas WWE, it would be maybe 1, maybe 2, and the rest would be video packages for that entire hour or however long it is. Anyway, it was a good buy-in. I enjoyed it.
I'll go watch it later.
Check it out. It's worth checking out. Nothing to, you ain't gonna... I think the best thing about it was Billy Ass and the Ass Boys. But that was about it.
I hope they named that faction the Ass Boys. Like, the Acclaimed and the Gun Club together are the Ass Boys. Like, I just love that. Because, like, I love that Billy Gunn plays into it and his kids hate it. Right? Because they want to have their own identity where he's like, yeah, Ass Boy Jr., I love it. Yeah, scissor me, brother. Like, I love that Billy Gunn is, like, on board and they fucking hate
Billy Gunn's the fucking man. I don't care. I love that Billy Gunn is still a part of shit, all these years later. Dude, they're entertaining. That's the best thing I can say about the Gun Club is they're entertaining.
It makes sense too, because like they're like, oh, we're gonna start our own faction, and it's like, of course they do. You know, they'd hit up Billy Gunn. He's in fucking DX. You know, one of the biggest factions in history. So it's like it makes sense with the legacy and all of that. And I just love all those guys involved. Like, are just a true gem in AEW.
They are. The Gun Club was something I wasn't expecting to really enjoy, and I started peeking more into them during the pandemic era when Austin and Colton were in the crowd for the shows, when they had just like the extras working the crowd for Dynamites. And he was always entertaining. He was always leading chants. He was into it, and you felt like he was into it. And the fact that they went like 60 tag team wins without losing. Dude, it was fantastic. I don't care if they were all on Dark and that they were all job matches. I don't care. It was cool, and I am thoroughly entertained by Billy Ass and the Ass Boys.
Yep.
All right, main fucking card. Here we go. Starting this motherfucker off hot.
Oh.
Dude, this match fucking boned. I fucking loved it. Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and the murder grandpa Minoru Suzuki defeated Shota Umino, Wheeler Yuta, and Eddie Kingston.
God, this was so...
Man.
Dude, as soon as I started this pay-per-view, I texted you, and I was like, of course, man, this is why I love AEW. They're like, first match, Chris Jericho and the murder grandpa. Like, it's like, holy fuck, I never thought that needed to be a tag team, and, like, I loved every second of this match. I love every second of this feud. Like, I want to point out, like, the long-term storytelling in AEW. It just shines with Chris Jericho. Because, dude, all of this started because everybody hated 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It all goes back to everybody, PMP, Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho. Like, everybody was feuding with 2.0, and it caused a rift between Chris Jericho and PMP, and then that started a fight with Eddie Kingston, and then, bam, now Chris Jericho recruits 2.0, and, like, holy crap, dude, this has been going on for over a year, and it just does not seem to get boring at all. Like, this whole feud gets better and better, and now they got fucking we're not going to touch that yet. We'll talk about that later.
Dude, so the thing that I loved about this match was, one, dude, did you hear that pop for Eddie Kingston when he came out?
He's the next
when
Stone
he walked
Cold.
out and that pop hit, I immediately tweeted out Eddie Kingston for world champ. I mean, motherfucker, he should be the world champ. I just looked at my wife and said, he needs to be the champ. Next champ. Whoever wins between Mox and Punk, Eddie needs to take it off of him. I'm all in on Eddie Kingston. But and by winning this match, now the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to have the man advantage at Blood and Guts on Wednesday. And yeah, dude, I'm excited for that match. The fucking face-off. When this, and I'm going to point out, I'm going to give Chris Jericho some mad fucking props here. So watch when he was about facing off with Eddie, and Eddie draws the line in the ring, and then Jericho turns around and tags in Suzuki. Not only did the place go fucking bananas, but watch Chris Jericho. He's standing on the ring apron, like blowing kisses to the crowd and soaking in the adulation, like, I gave you this. I'm Chris fucking Jericho. I am the king. Cheer for me. When they're really just cheering for Eddie Kingston and Minoru Suzuki. Right. Chris Jericho's the fucking man. And I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to say this now. Chris Jericho, I would put him above Bret Hart on my list as greatest of all time. Dude, Chris Jericho, constantly changing, constantly evolving, been in the business for this long, and is still having some of the best matches and most entertaining stories. Like you said, this hasn't gotten boring. And when did this fucking feud with Jericho 2.0 and Danny Garcia first start? How long ago was that? 6 months?
Yeah. This shit
Holy, and we're still
year.
Fucking going. And it's not stopping.
And it's getting better. Like, they added the BCC, and it's just like, holy shit, dude. Like, this is legit turning into the hottest, like, thing as far as, like, actual wrestling. Like, okay, MJF, Cody Rhodes with one titty. Okay, but actual wrestling stories, this is the hottest thing for me. Every match has been a banger. All the people involved are literally the best in the world. And
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, I've been saying it from the start. Jericho's the GOAT. He's been in my top 3, not even my top 5. He is in my top 3 since I was a kid. Like,
This is true.
Jericho is like I love that AEW has given him an opportunity to show that he is still the main eventer. Like, it's not like the 90s with Hulk Hogan where it was like shoved down our throat like this old guy. Like, hey, you've got to like this old guy. He's going to be the champ and blah, 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 blah. Like, Chris Jericho, he's an old guy, but like he's constantly putting out good shit that is the best shit on the episode of Dynamite. Like every episode he's involved, it's like the best angle on the show. And he's doing it organically. It's not getting really shoved down our throats. It's getting good reactions. That's why he's getting TV time.
Yep. And that's the best part is, dude, the Wizard. He's throwing fucking fireballs and calling himself the Wizard. It's over. Fuck it. It's over. It's fucking Chris Jericho. Everything that dude touches, he sinks his teeth into, and it turns into gold.
Dude,
turns into gold.
He'd have got the influencer over. I'm telling you, he'd have got it over.
He got everything over that he's done. Every fucking thing. I don't care what it is. He goes, yeah, I'm a wizard. Fuck it. Okay, you're a wizard now. He is the wizard. He was Les Champion was just something randomly he fucking says in a promo. Now he's Les Champion. Oh my God. And so in this match, Jericho got the win. He pinned Shota Umino after hitting him with a Judas effect. As I wrote, great opening match and set the tone for the entire night.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And it also it gave us, like, as an opening match, we were kind of going into this whole thing like, all right, what are they going to do? How protected is everybody going to be? And are they going to really let these guys go and give us like the Marvel versus Capcom fucking crossover that we wanted? And this match showed us, it's like, nah, dude, like Eddie Kingston and Minoru Suzuki are putting hands. And yeah, Minoru Suzuki, he can't bump anymore for shit, but he could still put on a good fucking match, and we're going to let them go. We're not protecting nobody, okay? We're not going to sit there.
Bump.
But the thing is, we're not going to sit there and like, oh, well, we're going to make Eddie Kingston look like shit to get over the New Japan guys. Or, no, the New Japan guys, they're unknown out here, so we're just going to job them out to our guys. No, dude, like, they look like equals doing battle on the battlefield. Like, this looked like Marvel versus Capcom. Ryu and Wolverine, they're evenly matched, you know?
And everyone looked good. Wheeler Yuta, I thought, had a fantastic showing. He showed a ton of fire and aggression during the match. Just going after people when they all spilled to the outside at the beginning, and he's just running up to Suzuki, hitting him, charging Jericho, and hitting him. Fucking Shota Umino looked great. I think Umino has a lot of Tanahashi vibes to him right now, and
he's got the hair.
I want to. He's got the hair, and I want to see what he does more. I was really impressed. This is the first time I've really seen him in a full match since Japan, since he went on his excursion. So this was really cool.
I think it'd be really cool if he ends up being the New Japan member of BCC, right? You know how like Orange Cassidy and all of them are part of Chaos, and then like you know, Adam Cole is kinda, and the Elite are kind of tied to Bullet Club. So like it'd be cool if Shota is like New Japan's, you know, representative for BCC to really like draw that line, you know, like, yo, man, the forbidden door is open, bro.
That'd be cool. Like how they have Bullet Club stuff in Impact and in New Japan. I would love to have a BCC in AEW and in New Japan. That'd be pretty neat.
Right, and then there's WWE on the side with Finn Balor and AJ being like, hey guys, hey, we got Bullet Club too.
They can't say Bullet Club. I wish they could. I would love it if they actually got licensing to use the Bullet Club stuff there.
That's probably on WWE, dude. They could call up, dude, do you think New Japan would turn them down? There's Bullet Club t-shirts in the fucking Tekken video game. Like, hell no, dude. There'd be Bullet Club shit on WWE. But WWE doesn't, you know, they would rather push the NWO, which is like the original Bullet Club. And so
they own that property.
Yeah, and I ain't hating on them, dude. Bullet Club is just a tribute to the NWO. Like, that's the original shit. WWE owns that. And the only reason why New Japan created the Bullet Club was because they don't have the NWO anymore.
I mean, it was like you said, it was done as a tribute. That's why they used the Wolfpack symbol, the hand sign.
Well, yeah, because they had an NWO long after WCW folded.
Oh, like, yeah, NWO Japan was still around for a good minute. Yeah,
for a long time. And when they lost that, it was like, oh shit, we needed, Kenny.
I thought
Kenny Omega.
I thought Finn Balor starting it was a great idea. Yeah. Bullet Club has absolutely been, good business for New Japan. But all right, second match of the night. This was one of my favorites. Wasn't my match of the night, but absolutely one of my favorites. Great storytelling throughout. This was a three-way tag team match for the ROH World Tag Team Championship and the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. We had the ROH Tag Champs, FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler defeating Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero, and the former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champs, the United Empire, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan. Dude, that place that crowd was just hot all night, but they were hot for everything. The FTR coming out, I mean,
dude,
place was as loud as Eddie Kingston.
I was hyped for this match just because of United Empire and Roppongi Vice being in it. I knew FTR. I don't get hyped for FTR matches because I just expect them to be 5-star. Right? It's like don't even bother getting excited. Just show up. It's gonna be FTR. Okay? Like it's gonna be good. Don't get too excited. You'll burn yourself out before the entrance music starts. So I was just excited to see them. I was hoping for a Roppongi Vice win just because I think that would have extended all of this. But as a one and done, like, yo, dude, it's Forbidden Door. It's a one and done pay-per-view. It's expected that it goes to FTR. I think this is really cool because it means that FTR is going to travel to Japan. And I think they're going to be so dope in New Japan, working what they do in New Japan. I'm only disappointed that it's not heel FTR going to New Japan. That would have been the perfect timeline.
I don't think it matters. The only thing that they really changed is that they kind of pander to the crowd a little bit more, but nothing changed about their in-ring work. Instead of healing to the crowd, they pander to them, which is fine. I don't see any difference, to be quite honest, in FTR.
That's what I love about them, dude. Them sneering at the crowd. Dude, they got legit fucking heat, man. Imagine them doing that shit in Japan with those fucking really conservative, quiet fucking crowds, right? Like, they're going to get over like Kenny Omega. They're going to be like Vader or Scott Norton. Basically, they're like Scott Norton, but is actually over. They do that.
Here's the thing, though. They could still be heels in New Japan. They could just be calling out every Japanese wrestler, and they're just kind of like the heel gaijin. And but in America, they're baby faces.
They do love Brett. They do love Brett.
They do love Brett.
Fucking, oh man, that I think, like I said, as the scenario coming out of this, meaning FTR goes to New Japan, I think that's really fucking cool. And if I were New Japan, I would be like, wait, we get FTR? Hell yeah, we're going to put the belts on your guys.
Dude, and in the opening minutes of this match, and I think the tease worked only because of how massive the injured list is right now for AEW. But teasing that injury by Dax, I thought was fantastic. Bringing him out, taking him out and leaving Cash as the sole guy there. I mean, even my wife was like, hey, Dax got hurt. And I just looked and I watched the heels beating on Cash, and I'm like, it's a work. She's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he'll be back. Watch. The big hot tag, Dax will come running down that aisle for it. It's going to happen.
I knew it wasn't real because they first of all didn't do the cross hand signal. Like, so whenever you don't see that instantly, it's like, all right, they didn't do that. So, and I know that that's not a real thing that they work with that too now. But it is still a thing to look out for. So when I saw that they didn't instantly do that, I was like, okay, all right, so this could be a work, or maybe he's maybe he is legit hurt and they just don't want to take any chances. But it's like you said, as soon as they started double teaming Cash, I was like, all right, man, it's a work. He's going to come out and make the save, but it's going to be dope as fuck. And that's what I told my wife. I was like, watch, he's going to come back out and make the save, and they're going to win, and it's going to be fucking dope. Like, that's such an old school angle, and I fucking love it because nobody could do that. You couldn't pull that off with RKO. You couldn't pull that off with any other tag team. It had to be FTR because only Dax could have made that elbow botch look real.
And they make everything look so good. They make screw-ups look legitimate. Like,
dude, they made that screw up look like a real screw up because I'm like looking at that elbow like, I don't know, man. Maybe he did twist it. I'm like, babe, these kind of injuries happen. just
They
randomly. And like,
They do.
that was so. And again, only FTR could have pulled that off. They
I'm
are the
not.
masters of the work.
I'm not saying they're biters, but they take everything that was once that's old and they make it new again.
Well, but the
And
thing
I'm
is, they
talking
take
shit
the
from
old
like 40
shit.
years ago.
No, but
Like they're talking shit you haven't seen since the 80s and early 90s and shit sometimes 70s.
But the thing
You're
is, they're
seeing
the
that
only ones that can. That's the thing, is they're doing something. Yeah, it's old shit, but no one else can pull it off. Like,
they're pulling it off to a T. Yes,
maybe
they
the
nail it.
Briscoes. The Briscoes are kind of old schoolish when they're a heel, but they're like baby faces right now.
I love
But
heel
like they're
Briscoes.
heel Briscoes are kind of in that vein, but not like rather than
Yeah.
being the heavenly bodies, they're like the nasty like heel bushwhackers.
Right.
So but like yeah, FTR they're the fucking stars, dude. 7-star FTR, and I love
I'm gonna
the
say it
fucking
right now.
shirt, dude. It has all the gold, the belts, right? All the
Yeah.
different brand colors,
Yeah.
right? They even had the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Yep.
Fuck,
Yep.
dude, FTR is so great.
Greatest tag team of all time. I'm going to say it now. They have changed my mind. They are the best tag team of all time.
Yeah,
All time.
I was gonna go
Not
with
today.
the Steiners for so long. That was, for me, that was the greatest tag team of all time, was the Steiners. Like, you can't touch their career. They got over everywhere and were the best everywhere they went. And
So as
FTR went to more places and did that, right? You think about it, and it's like, yeah, like the Steiners were a big deal because they did it in Japan, right? They did
Sure.
New Japan, they did NWA, WCW, and WWF, and they were the only tag team besides like the Road Warriors to do that. But like the Steiners were just fucking better than the Road Warriors. Like, fight me on that.
In ring, yeah. In ring, absolutely.
Right?
I think the Steiners were probably one of the only few people that could actually hold their own against the Road Warriors in a legitimate fight.
Yeah, and so for the longest time, that was my like all time. Like, nobody's touching the Steiners. And then FTR after last night, I was like, bro, like even if we take away ring ability and just look at accomplishments, like FTR have gotten over and won belts in more places than the Steiners.
Yeah, dude. There's nothing like FTR. As I even texted you yesterday, I said, man, they've been on a run these last few months, but I think we still haven't seen anything yet.
Dude, and they're just two randos that were thrown together in NXT. Like, they weren't even like
No, they weren't. These guys came in together on the indies. They teamed together on the indies a little bit. Not like what they did to now in an NXT. They knew each other on the indies. They teamed up together here and there, but they weren't a team. And I want to say Dax got signed first. Cash, and he was doing some shit in NXT. He was doing like this Southern guy. He would wear like plaid, shirts that he ripped the sleeves off of and wore them like jackets.
Yeah.
And he would look like he had a chew in his mouth,
What
but
was that,
then
basically
Cash
the
comes
Jamie
in.
Noble gimmick?
Kind of, but then Cash came in and they were like, hey, we need to team up. I mean, best decision they ever made.
Yeah.
Best decision they ever made.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that they've committed to tag team wrestling, and like it's kind of like I love that the Young Bucks are kind of passing the torch to FTR, and it's like the Young Bucks basically made tag team wrestling on the indies for the past decade, but they're winding down, right? They've done what they're gonna do, and now it's like they're kind of passing the torch to FTR to be the next Young Bucks, and FTR have taken that responsibility and said, yeah, dude, we're gonna fucking make tag team wrestling the shit.
Dude, they're on another level. I think the only tag team that could touch them in terms of match quality is the Bucks.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm not saying that's not a slight against any other team. To me, the Bucks are on a level than everybody else, but FTR is on another level than the Bucks. That's just my opinion. But more on this match, dude. Roppongi Vice needs to be a permanent team in New Japan and AEW now. Seriously, they've been one of my favorite teams since they put them together in Japan years ago. And I was kind of bummed. I loved seeing Trent and Chuck on the indies doing the best friends stuff. But then when Trent got the shot in Japan and they put him up with Rocky, I was like, well, this is interesting. Man, I've loved Roppongi Vice since then. And now we got him back. They're even better now.
Yeah, because Best
Same
Friends
with
is
United
basically
Empire.
dead, dude. Like now they're just in
It
chaos.
feels like it.
It
It
like
feels like
they're
it
just
because
in
even Chuck's not even with Orange Cassidy, and I don't know why. Hopefully, Chuck's not getting put out on the back end, or getting let go or letting contract expire. I love Chuck Taylor.
I think he's more focused on the school because I know he does like a lot of training work with AEW.
Does he?
So and then like his last student that they pushed out was Wheeler Yuta. So he's
that was different. So Yuta trained in Chikara under Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
But Chikara, that school's been dead for years.
No, but Chuck Taylor's got his own. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy have their own school together, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's what I had heard.
They should.
That they
should.
Either they had a school or they were working at AEW school, and that was like kind of where they were training up Wheeler Yuta like recently, like until he joined BCC.
Huh.
But like when he
I hadn't heard that, but I would tell anybody who wants to pay money for a wrestling school, you should go learn from Chuck Taylor.
Fuck yeah.
I would tell anybody that.
Just kind of sucks that faction's gone. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I enjoyed Chuck though. That's the thing is I think Chuck Taylor was one of the main reasons I liked Best Friends. Even before Orange Cassidy came in, Chuck Taylor, he's been a favorite of mine for years. I've liked him.
Yeah.
But dude, another team on here, dude, United Empire, man. Cobb and Okan. Now I was watching Okan back when he was a young boy, long time ago, and then when he came back as Great Okan, I wasn't watching it as heavy because I didn't really watch New Japan a lot during the pandemic times. It was just too hard to watch for me. Not a lot of English content and no crowds. It was difficult. So I wasn't watching too much into New Japan. But seeing what I've seen of Okan, yeah, dude, I'm all in on him. Jeff Cobb's a beast.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot of like prime era Rhino when Rhino was in better shape and could do more stuff.
Like, ECW Rhino.
Yeah, like you remember like the Rhino that we saw that we were like, fuck, this guy's the fucking future. Like, look at him. He's huge and he's scary and he can move. And then he got hurt and then he got fat. And then it was like, all right, well, that didn't happen. Cobb seems to me like that Rhino potential is back. Like he could be what we were hoping Rhino would turn into.
I think he's better than what Rhino ever was.
Oh, by far. Like he's as far as like a wrestler, he's definitely a better wrestler than Rhino was. But as far as his presentation and the way he carries his look, his character, his personality, very Rhino-esque. But like it's kind of like a lot of stuff that I'm seeing is, it's I don't want to say derivative, but like, the new generation are really picking up a lot of the gimmicks of my childhood and running with it. And it seems like Cobb is like, yo, dude, I could do the Rhino thing.
Yeah, I'm digging United Empire. They'll get the titles back.
They've had it twice. It's no big deal.
They'll win it again. FTR won the match by hitting the big rig on Rocky Romero, and now they are the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, and the AAA Tag Team Champions.
Just give them all the belts. Dude, there needs to... How many belts were in the J Crown? Right? It was like...
9
belts, right? Like, FTR have the 7 stars. We need to come up with, like, some sort of J Crown for FTR, and then just...
just send them to Impact, give them the Impact titles. Send them to MLW, give them the MLW tag titles. Fuck it. Send them to Raw and SmackDown and NXT and just give them those fucking belts, too. Don't even have them wrestle. Just give them the fucking belts.
Right? Like, and then they
don't beat anybody.
Fuck, it sucks that they got rid of Tully Blanchard because they'd need a manager. Like when Ultimo Dragon had the J Crown and Sonny Ono was always carrying all his belts. Like, they need a manager to carry the belts for him.
I'm kind of bummed not Sonny Ono. Tully Blanchard isn't a part of the equation. I thought he did very good. But here's the other thing, though. They don't need a manager.
No, they don't.
Their promos are good. They don't need someone to speak for them, so I don't have a problem with it.
They need a belt rack. That's what they need.
They should just get a fucking extra every show that they just put the belts on. And they're like, why do you keep coming out with extras? What are you talking about? That's our belt rack.
Right? Somebody go find Ralphus.
Dude, that would be pretty funny. But yeah, man, great match. Enjoyed it. I think that FTR. They're gonna take the titles off the Bucks. The only title I could see them losing anytime soon would be the AAA titles. I think those are going to be the ones that they're going to have a lot less control over,
but
which
AAA
I'm okay
doesn't
with.
give a shit, dude. Mexico doesn't care about belts. Look at their belts. Their belts are like old and floppy and made out of cardboard.
Look like ass.
Like,
I hate the belts down there.
Fucking care, dude. They don't.
Dude, even
probably...
the AAA Mega Championship looks like shit in my opinion. When Kenny was carrying it, I'm like, good God, that looks like the $125 boxing belt I bought to use as our world championship when we ran an indie promotion. All right, man. Third match.
Sorry, go ahead.
Third match. We got it. This match I was excited for. I was bummed that Ishii got taken out, but holy shit, his replacement delivered. The AEW All-Atlantic Championship. Pac defeated Clark Connors, Malachi Black, and Miro. What were your thoughts,
dude? About fucking time. When the match started, my wife was like, "Who are you calling?" And I was like, "Babe, you know Miro is my everything." But Pac needs a belt. If there's one thing that would make me sway from Miro, it's like Pac needs a fucking belt, man.
Right.
It's been too goddamn long. He's been one of the best things on their roster for too long. He's one of the few guys they've let beat Kenny Omega clean. Like, yeah, okay, I get why they don't put the main belt on him. He's a little kind of difficult with his travel and, logistics. But, like, as an international belt that they want to send as, like, as an ambassador for AEW, Pac is literally the best person they could pick. There's nobody better than Pac.
No. I thought it was, dude, I'm with you. I was Miro all the way. I even tweeted it. I'm picking Miro. This match, like, dude, when Miro went for the game over on Pac, I was like, this is it. Miro's the new champ. Thought it was happening. I can't believe he got out of it.
God, they teased
I was surprised.
Dude, and how he pulled him back, I was like,
yeah.
Oh. And then the way the camera cut, like, you didn't see the save coming in from off screen. You know? So it really did. It was like he really did look like he was on the verge of tapping, and you're like, fuck, man, Pac. You put in a good fight, but you can't. Oh, we got a match here, baby.
Dude, I mean, this is just going to be par for the rest of this show. This match was fan-fucking-tastic. Like, what the fuck, man?
Multi-man matches are not easy to keep entertaining. And I think that is a key, because Pac is constantly used. Pac and Malachi are used in multi-man matches a lot. So they've kind of mastered the format. And this shows that, like, you could take, Miro and what was the other guy?
Clark Connors,
who don't really do a lot of multi-man matches, but because you had Pac and Malachi in there to kind of grease the gears,
sure.
They buffered the other two to really make it work. And man, did Connors fucking sell me, dude. I was like, all right, they're throwing a young lion in there because they, like, how are you going to replace Ishii with, like, some young lion dude, right? I was like, what the fuck, man? There's no one else from New Japan you couldn't have pulled. And then when he came out and he delivered, and I was like, bro, you earned your spot in this fucking match.
Yeah, absolutely.
That table spot, that table spear, fucking perfect, excellent. The way he brought it back in and tried to win afterwards, like, he didn't just hit the big spot and then, like, pose and be an idiot and then get jumped from behind.
Tried to win.
He was like, I posed, like, it was like surprise, like, holy shit, I landed the big move. Like, he was shocked, and then it was like, no, get him in the ring. We gotta beat this shit. And I love that. The psychology was so on point. Everything about this match was excellent.
Dude, yeah, and that's what I wanted to say, man. Clark Connors, dude, he showed out. Watch the reaction to Clark Connors when he came out. He got a smattering of applause, but he had them chanting his name. The entire arena was chanting his name by the end of that match. Dude, he just rose his stock in New Japan immensely. And I think he's one of the young lions from the LA dojo that's actually trying to stay in Japan, not like work the New Japan strong stuff. I want to say he wants to actually go to Japan and stay there full time, like Zack Sabre, Will Ospreay, and those guys have done.
Because he's not American, right? Isn't he, like, Australian?
He is.
Oh, he is American?
No, he's American. I'm pretty sure he's American.
I wouldn't blame it,
Pretty
man.
sure.
Like New Japan, like this pay-per-view is gonna make New Japan explode. Like people are already all over social media. Like, where the fuck do I watch fucking New Japan, right? So it's kind of smart for him to want to go, because Strong is kind of like their NXT, and then you go to the main.
Yes and
roster.
no. It's their US version. So you're going to see a lot of the guys training from the LA dojo. You'll see they'll bring in a lot more local guys. This is where I think the IWGP US title is going to get defended more. Yeah, I New Japan Strong, and I need to watch it because the cool thing about the show, while I was watching it live, I was able to scroll through Twitter and just kind of see what people's reactions were. And there was a lot of people going, see, told you Clark Connors can deliver. Apparently, he's been killing it in New Japan Strong lately. And I was like, fuck, I need to watch that shit.
Dude, they got Grand Metalik, man. That's like the thing for me is like, I need to watch New Japan Strong. They got Grand Metalik. I need to fucking see it. Like, every time he's in Japan, he's amazing.
I was so bummed with how he came out of the Cruiserweight Classic because that was a guy I was like, wait, this dude's going to WWE? Oh, this shit's going to be fucking great. I was like, this is your Rey Mysterio right here. I was like, you got him, you got Kalisto. I was like, you got the making of the next Lucha Revolution in America. Nope.
No. We get Lucha House Party. We get the fucking second coming of the Mexicools. Like, the only reason why nobody called it racist was because it was their own idea.
Right?
Right? Like, if wasn't it Lindsay that came up with that whole gimmick? Like, if Lindsay didn't come up with that, everybody would be like, oh, that's just Vince being Vince. Racist ass WWE.
I mean, fuck, they put Tozawa in a goddamn ninja outfit.
Oh, fucking don't remind me of that shit. But
who's surprised about that shit?
There is nothing about Tozawa that makes me think ninja. Like, no, at least Hideo Itami has a striker fucking fighting style. Like, make him a ninja.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Pac, first AEW All-Atlantic champion, and I'm going to be honest, I picked Miro, but dude, Pac was the right choice.
Yeah,
Pac was the right choice.
I wanted Pac from the start. I fucking love Pac. Like, the dude is like a rubber band. I don't think he has bones or tendons. Like, that guy is just... He's phenomenal. Like, to me, Pac...
Don't go watch his match on Raw with Chris Jericho where he breaks his leg.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, I feel like Pac is the second coming of AJ Styles. Like, the guy's execution
Very
is
interesting
so
comparison.
Fucking flawless. Like,
nice.
Pac does, like, even when he botches, that shit looks good. And very few people...
I don't even know when Pac botches.
Right? You have no idea when he fucked up anything. He's such a perfectionist with his performance, and like the only thing that held him back for so long was character and personality, and when he turned heel and nailed that, it's like, dude, nothing can stop this man.
That King of the Cruiserweights, when he turned, I was like, oh my god, you've got something here, and they just fucked that up.
Not AEW though. All ocean champion. I'm not gonna call it all Atlantic. It's every ocean. China is not Atlantic, okay? Sorry. If Chinese want to be involved, they can be, but it's the all ocean champion.
All right, man. Moving on. Another again. Fucking some of these matches had no business being as good as they were. This one, Shingo Takagi, Darby Allin, and Sting defeating El Phantasmo and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, collectively as the Bullet Club. Man, dude, I'll say when the Bucks came out, I was even telling the wife. With Hikuleo as the manager, yes. When the Bucks came out to their music, I was even telling the wife, I was like, man, I just give me Young Bucks. Give me Young Bucks Bullet Club one night. That's all I want. Like gear, everything. Don't come out in like your current shtick and all that. I want Bullet Club Bucks. They didn't disappoint. Like their music hit, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I guess they could come out to Super Kick Party." And then the Bullet Club music hit, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Right. And then the gear they were wearing, it's about to be on. And I gotta say this: Young Bucks and El Phantasmo, that needs to be a 3-man team that I see again.
Right, dude. I don't want Young Bucks to leave the Bullet Club, dude. I want the Young Bucks, like I want the fucking Super Elite or whatever, the Super Click, to just be the AEW branch of the Bullet Club. Like, come on, man. Like, the Young Bucks with Phantasmo were great. Great. Sting fucking started the fucking match with a fucking plancha from the fucking heavens. Dude, when they showed him in the Raffers, he sabooed the Raw stage. And then he fucking, dude, when they showed him in the rafters, I was like, is he going to drop down? Like, is he going to
I thought they were about to drop him from the ceiling, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm cool with that.
No.
And then they cut to the stage. I was like, nice.
He did an Undertaker teleport. I was like, come on, man. Like, this is so good. Like, everything about this match was amazing. Seeing Sting and Shingo, just like, because you got to think that Shingo probably idolized Sting growing up. Sting was big in that.
Yeah.
When you think of like the era that Shingo probably grew up watching wrestling, that's
Our
around
era.
the time. But that's around the time Sting was regularly touring Japan with WCW. So you've got to think this is probably an idol match for him. So I thought it was really cool seeing them interact and, like, you know, have a good time. You could tell they were like, all 6 men were just having fun. Like, this was a party match for these guys.
That spot where him and Shingo were trading off moves, Shingo and Sting, like that popped me. Like, he went for the elbow drop, and then Sting does it, and I was like, hey, that's pretty neat. Shingo does the senton. I looked at him, I was like, he ain't doing it. He motherfucking did a senton. I was like,
and it looked nice. It was a
fucking
good ass
Sting.
senton too.
My wife even said this to me. She goes, did it feel like they built that match around Sting? Like, he had so much screen time in that match.
Yeah, dude, if you have Sting, you want to take advantage of Sting. You want your money's worth out of Sting. And I loved how AEW is using Sting. He's a featured thing. You don't see him wrestle often. You see him there every day. He's at every Dynamite that he's not hurt. Right, he hasn't been around because he's been hurt. But if he's available, he is on Dynamite. You see him, he comes out, he does a couple of moves, that's it, and then he has a match, and it's fucking amazing every fucking time.
Now, it's not Sting from the '90s good,
dude. He's better, man. I feel like he does saying so is like much more with less.
He does, but I think he has to, you know.
Yeah.
But I think like that's where they went wrong in WWE. They tried to do Sting in what year was that? 2013? No, 2015. I want to say it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15 or 16.
They tried to redo Sting, and it didn't. It was fine. Like, even his match with Triple H at WrestleMania, that was okay. They had, you know, a few smoke and mirrors there. But then you go watch his match with Seth. And they just, you're buckle bombing Sting. Come on.
Like they were hoping they could get the Sting from the 80s and 90s that we had grown up with, and they didn't realize that it was the Sting from TNA, like the beat up older Sting that can still go, but it's not the Sting from the 80s that was rocking with Ric Flair for like an hour and a half to a draw.
I don't even think you had Sting from TNA in WWE. You had a shell of what Sting was in TNA because he couldn't do as much. He was beat up, he was banged up, but here you still see he is. I mean, you could tell he's 63. But at the same time, they're protecting him in these multi-man matches. I don't think he's had a singles match in AEW. I think it's all been tags and multi-mans.
Well, and they have him tagging with Darby, who's a bump machine. So, like, you can have Darby.
Dude, fucking Darby's wearing off on this motherfucker. He's done dives off of entrances through tables. He did the dive at Forbidden Door. He does dives out of the ring.
But you see what Sting's shtick is, like, okay, he's an old man and he no-sells. And it's like, all right, does anybody really want to see an old man no-sell? But the fact that, like, but the thing is, the way they make it work is they have Darby build the sympathy, right? Because he's a bump machine. They have Darby build the sympathy, and you're like, fuck, dude, I'm tired of them beating on Darby. And then finally he tags in this gigantic fucking face-painted man. And then Sting goes wild and no-sells on everybody and just bumps the shit out of everybody. And you're hype and excited to see it because it feels earned. It's not like Goldberg where he comes in and or Brock Lesnar where he just no-sells for everybody. And you're like, all right, cool, no one can beat him. It's like, no, like Sting, it's like revenge. It's like you're unleashing the fucking power. Like, oh, you want to pick on Darby? Like, here, man, pick on Sting.
Pick on me.
And I love that whole dynamic. They couldn't have picked a better, like, team. Like, a better guy to team with Sting is Darby. Than Darby.
I was leery. I was like, Sting and Darby? Man, it works. It works. They've done a fantastic job with Sting.
And Shingo. Throwing Shingo in there? I didn't think that was going to work. I was like, Shingo with Darby and Sting? Like, the goth dudes with the fucking Dragon Ball Z character? Like, okay, whatever. Right? And then it worked.
Fuck, it worked! Dude, I just wish Hiromu was there, man. Hiromu would have added a whole nother layer to that match. That I don't think we needed because it was a great match, period. But it was fun, man.
Yeah,
And,
but
Shingo pinned. Go ahead.
Hiromu would have added more flips per person quotient.
Probably. So Shingo ended up pinning El Phantasmo after hitting his finish, the last of the dragon. But I gotta say this. Kevin Kelly said something during that match that made me pop, and I fucking wrote this in my notes. Los Stingobernables de Japón. I'm like, I need Sting a part of LIJ in New Japan now.
Damn,
It needs to be Los Stingobernables.
Dog,
Put Darby and Sting as honorary members.
Dude, have they been setting that up all this time?
I would fucking love it.
Wait,
I wish Naito was there. I wish LIJ was there so we could have got the fucking, the fist.
Andrade's been trying to recruit him all this fucking time.
That's pretty dope, huh?
Right, dude? Sting and Andrade finally teaming up. Like, bro, my mind has just been blown. I didn't even catch. I caught the line in the commentary when he said Sting and Gobernables, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's funny. But then when you said it right now, and I was like, wait a minute, Andrade's part of that shit too. Holy
yeah, he's the originator.
fuck,
him
dude.
and Roosh founded Los Ingobernables in CMLL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, damn, dude, they set that shit up with dog. Oh, I need Sting, Darby, and Andrade. I was sad when they did the fucking casket match, man. I didn't want that feud to end. I just love those three working together. I think they're so fantastic.
Dude, Andrade's just awesome. I was bummed he couldn't be a part of the show. I think he would have had a banger of a match with Ospreay. I'm happy with what we got instead. Very happy. But yeah, dude, I'm bummed Andrade and Phoenix and Penta couldn't be on the show. I think they would have had some fun stuff happening too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Next, AEW Women's World Championship. Thunder Rosa retains the title, defeating Toni Storm. I'll say this. So I unfortunately I had to adult, and so the very end of the 6-man and most of this match I missed on Sunday because I had to go adult. My kids needed to go to bed, so I had to take care of that crap.
Well, actually,
I say like it's crap. It's not crap. Don't flog me for that. But I had to go take care of my kids and do the parent shit. So I missed this match, but I rewatched it. I rewatched it the next day, and I liked it. 10 minutes, not very long for a championship match, but I thought I had great pacing. I thought the aggression from Thunder Rosa was really good. And I'm going to be honest, I thought this was one of Thunder Rosa's better matches in recent months. Her match with Deeb was still better than this, but I thought this was probably one of the better matches in a while from her.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you on that, man. This was her best. This was her best matchup in like a year. Like this is, I can at least say this has been her best match since her match with Jade Cargill, which was the last time I enjoyed a Thunder Rosa match. Which makes me very, very sad because I fucking love Thunder Rosa. I think this was better than Deeb. This was better than anything Thunder Rosa's done. This was better than her taking the belt off Britt. This match. And I think this is a testament to Toni Storm. Again, I've said it before.
Agreed.
Toni Storm is delivering what everyone was hoping Ruby would. And
I think
so Toni Storm, Khan has gotten his money's worth out of Storm. She's over. She looks great. She's staying in shape, unlike a lot of WWE cast-offs that are coming to AEW and getting sloppy and fat. And Toni Storm still looks good. She still looks as crisp as she did in NXT.
Absolutely.
Her matches are awesome. She's good at building sympathy from the crowd, but she can get heat if they need her to kind of add an edge to it. She's delivered, and I want to say that half of the reason why this match was as good as it was because she was in it. I think Toni Storm really, it started out as kind of like another ho-hum recent Thunder Rosa match, and it looked like once the crowd started really getting into it and Thunder Rosa really playing into the heelish aspect and Toni Storm was given time to really build sympathy, and then it went into that hot finish that came out of nowhere, but it was still hot. Yeah, Thunder Rosa's best match in a long fucking time. This is the Thunder Rosa title run I've been waiting for. I'm hoping every one of her matches are this good. I think if they are, she can redeem this title run and people won't shit on the legacy of her as AEW Women's Champ. Because thus far, her title run has been a little disappointing.
A little bit. But I thought it was fun. I will say this, and I feel this way whenever I see moves like this. I think her Fire Thunder driver is amazing. That pile driver she does and the way she stuck Tony with it looks so good. That should have finished the match.
Yeah.
While I like the tribute to Dustin and it's using Dustin's finish, the Fire Thunder driver looks worse than that spinning suplex. Or spinning brainbuster. I don't know what you would call it.
See, but I think the spinning brainbuster still looked good. And as a follow-up, it's like...
Oh, no, it looked good.
She just needed a little bit more damage, man. It was like, to me, it's like in, like, Mortal Kombat when you, like, just need a little down punch. Like, they have one little sliver of health, and it's like, just jab him. Just jab him. And she was like, nah, I'm not going to jab him. I'm going to at least do a finishing move, but I'm too tired to do the same move again. So let me improvise.
But this is why I think maybe instead of going for the pin, and, like, the near fall was choice. But in my opinion, again, just mine, I would have thought maybe hit the Fire Thunder driver, but before going for the pin, you see Tony still putting in a little more effort. So you quickly pick her up, bam, hit that move on her. 1, 2, 3, that's it. I think going for the pin was just, like I said, it was a great near fall, but that's your finish. I would rather you see Tony just having a little bit more, like you hit her and she's trying to sit up and you're like, oh no, fuck this. This bitch gonna sit up? Okay. Pick her right up, spinning neck breaker, 1, 2, 3. You know, I think that would have been a better finish. That's just my opinion.
They still wanted, you could tell they wanted her kicking out of a finish. They wanted that moment in the match because you know that even though it was pretty much assumed that Toni Storm was going to lose, they still wanted to keep her strong. So it was like, all right, we need her to kick out of a finish. Let's have her kick out of this one, and then we'll have the tribute afterwards. Because this is the more devastating finish, so she's going to look stronger kicking out of this one anyways. But I love the match, personally.
I thought it was great. Oh, dude, I wrote this down. Toni Storm, that running hip attack that she does in the corner, that's the best since Umaga.
Yeah, that actually looked really good because I remember that spot being set up and my wife was like, oh, she's going to hit her in the face with her butt. And then when they did the close-up and both of us were like, ooh, and it's like, dude, I've taken that spot before.
Yeah,
have I. It's not that bad. It's all in how you sell it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the way
how you sell it and how you hit. Yeah.
They made it look really good because it's not that bad. If you can make me wince when I know that it's not very painful, then I feel like you did your job as a wrestler.
Right? Like, dude, it was great. And I even wrote best match for Thunder Rosa since winning the women's title. So maybe I did think it was better than so it sounds like I did think it was better than her match with Serena. But I love the match. I actually want a rematch. My last note on this match was I can't wait for a rematch.
Oh yeah, me too.
This will be good. All right. Next match. IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. The champion Will Ospreay retains by defeating Orange Cassidy after hitting him with a hidden blade and then the Stormbreaker.
Match of the fucking night. I think we have the same match of the night. I think we have the same
match. Absolutely. Like, this was my favorite match.
This, like, first of all, when everybody, leading up into this, people were like, oh, this show has no build, and, like, I don't care about New Japan, and I don't watch this shit, and I was just like, wait till these fucking idiots see Will Ospreay.
Watch the fucking matches,
yeah. I was like, dude, all of these people are going to eat their shit when clips of this motherfucker hit YouTube. They're going to skip this show, they're going to see clips of this motherfucker on Twitter and Reddit, and they're going to be like, damn, wait, whoa, what did I miss? And the people that watch it are going to be like, yo, I need to watch New Japan now. And I was like, this is the match. And I remember when it came up and I told my wife, I was like, this is going to be the best match of the night. Like, this is my main event, right? Yeah. This is going to be the dopest shit. And fuck, dude, Orange Cassidy coming back, right? Like, he had something to prove. It was like he hasn't had a match since he got hurt. And here he is on the spotlight with a main eventer on a pay-per-view. He has to deliver. He has to prove Okay, it's not him having a fun match with Chris Jericho, all right, getting carried in a three-way with Pac and Kenny Omega. Like, he's got to deliver as a main eventer to show he can hang with someone like Will Ospreay, and that match, he did it. In my opinion, he showed that Orange Cassidy is a legit bona fide main event star and not a comedy act.
Yes. I said this. I said this to. I didn't say this to anybody. I'm sorry. I wrote it in my notes. I wrote, anybody who doubts Orange Cassidy clearly doesn't watch his matches.
Yeah.
Like everyone, I remember we even talked about it when we were previewing the show. We said, go and watch Orange Cassidy and Pac and tell me this match won't be fucking the best match of the night. Like, they had everything going for them to be the best match of the night. We were calling it before the match even fucking happened. This match is gonna fucking rule. Yeah. And it exceeded my expectations.
I think
one thing I didn't like though. I don't like the angle that they're doing with Juice Robinson keeping the belt. I think that explanation, while yes, they went over it a couple times, it's still confusing because he comes out with the Rev Pro title, but the announcers announce him as the IWGP United States champion. And yes, commentary's like, oh, Juice Robinson, he had a appendicitis and gave up the belt, but he never gave the physical ownership of the belt and blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, when you're going to have a show like this, I think Will needed the title. He needed the belt with him.
Well, I actually like it because now people are interested in Will Ospreay and they're like, what's he going to do next? And it's like, oh, he does this unfinished business with somebody has his belt. Like, as an introduction to Will Ospreay and what he's doing in New Japan to whet your appetite to go watch
it was
Will
perfect
Ospreay.
For that.
I think it was great. Like,
beautiful.
Yeah, as a one-off, like one and done, it's like whatever. You got a clean finish, and then after the clean finish, they set up Will Ospreay versus Juice Robinson plus other things. And I like, dude, this whole segment was just the best thing in the universe.
And just talking more about the match before we get into the surprise. Before we get into the surprise, everyone who clicks on this is going to look at the fucking thumbnail and be like, huh?
Dude, there's so many moments in this match. We could do a podcast on just this match.
We could. Like, the one thing I'll say this, and I think I touched on it last week. Will Ospreay has absolutely evolved his style in so much. He's got a lot more power-based moves since he's put on a lot more muscle. His facial expressions are just top-notch. His overall storytelling ability through his match is just great. Even leading into the Orange Cassidy, the kicks stuff, like that shit was just so good. Like his look on his face was everything. Dude, when they slammed Will's head into the fucking GoPro that's on the corner, and the fucking camera angle, and then you see the look on Will's face. Man, like, everything was sold perfectly. Dude. This wasn't a spot fest or anything like that. And dude, and out of nowhere, when Orange hit the beach break, I was like, new champ! I was bummed that he didn't win it, but bro, dude, match fucking banged. There's no way around it.
Greatest 2 count ever. You know which
greatest
2 count I'm talking
near
about.
Fall.
Bro, even my wife was sitting there like, wait, did Orange Cassidy win? And I was like, nope. 2.99999 count, babe. And I was like, that's a damn good 2 count. That was an amazing 2 count. Because people don't realize how hard it is to hear the count when you're in the ring, right? And you're getting pinned,
you can get lost.
And you lose count because there's so much noise to like hear the 2 count. And that's why, like, especially on the indies, man, you see a lot of people botching, 2 counts, and you just, hey, man, I've been that ref before. You got to protect the business, bro. Sorry, brother, you didn't kick out. My bad, brother. Got to protect the business.
And I'm with you on that. You always go for 3, no matter what.
But Will Ospreay to kick out that late was so, dude, that's tough. I gotta give a hats off to that. That was amazing.
There's absolute, like, this match just, I want to go back and watch this match again right now. And I've already watched it twice.
Yeah, this is a match
so
people will
good.
talk about. If fucking Dave Meltzer doesn't give it 5 stars, then there's just like it would like literally that match is proof that it would have got 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome.
Dude, if he doesn't, yeah, absolutely. And Orange Cassidy, I think this dude's about to be a massive. This was absolutely a breakout moment for him, and he's had breakout moments. It was just another one. It was just another match. Again, if you're doubting Orange Cassidy, it's because you're not paying attention.
Yeah, you really like if you just watch one, like really honestly, you just watch his match with Pac. That should have made you a believer.
All you got to do.
But if that didn't,
I even think his matches with Jericho were good. You see when he jumps out, when he gets out of his, when he actually tries, as they like to say, the dude's better than almost anybody in the world sometimes. He's got everything you want. The fire, the facial expressions, the moves. I mean, everything he does looks crisp as hell.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. I would put him on level of Chuck Taylor as being one of the most solid workers you've got.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People are going to say that this is a star-making performance by these two, and I'm like, only if you've never seen them. Like, everybody who's seen Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy called it from the start. They were like, wait, that's on the card? That's match of the night. Sorry.
That's going to be fucking great. Everyone did. Again, okay, I know AEW is not everyone's cup of tea. There's a lot of people that don't like the storylines. They don't like the shows. I'm all fine with that. I'm fine with that. But you can't sit here and tell me these guys are terrible workers. I can absolutely appreciate a style of wrestling that I'm a big fan of. I personally don't care too much for deathmatch wrestling. But when I go and watch the good ones and not just ones that are hitting each other with shit that actually tells stories through the deathmatch, I can appreciate that. A real wrestling fan should be able to look at this and appreciate this match for what it was, whether you like that style or not.
See, I like this style. Like this,
I love this style.
This
wasn't a spot fest. This wasn't a spot fest. This was a great match with great selling, great storytelling.
It was just a straight up
and the best near fall in the business.
It was a straight up New Japan style cruiserweight match. Even though Will Ospreay is not really a cruiserweight anymore, he still kind of worked that cruiserweight style because of Orange Cassidy.
I think it was a hybrid cruiserweight, heavyweight New Japan style match, which Will tends to do more of. He's still, like you see, he's still quick. He could still do the Sasuke special even after putting on that much muscle. And I think it looks better the fact that he put on that much muscle. So he could still do those moves. Sure, it's not everything he used to do. Go back and watch his shit when he first came over from Rev Pro or in Progress. Go back and watch his shit when he first showed up in PWG, and then compare it to now. This dude got better. Yeah. He was good. Now he's great. And I said this to the wife. If somebody came up to me and said, I think Will Ospreay's the best wrestler today, I can't argue that. I have no evidence to prove that they're wrong. I disagree. I think Bryan Danielson's the best wrestler around today. But how can I prove that against Will Ospreay? I can't. It's subjective. So I can't sit there and go, you're wrong. No, I disagree. Bryan's the best in my opinion today. But I can't prove you wrong. So that means you are right in your opinion. I would agree. You want to say Will's one of the best wrestlers today? Okay.
I would say that he's at least the best thing in New Japan, right? A lot of people probably want to say Ibushi or Okada are like the best thing in New Japan, but I feel like at least in the past 2 years, Will Ospreay has quickly risen up to being the best thing in the reason to watch New Japan is now Will Ospreay.
Yes, I agree. 100% agree.
That was one thing that my wife was asking me. She's like, is this guy going to be at AEW more? And I was like, babe, New Japan is not letting him go anywhere. Like, he is their star. Him and Jay White are the two guys that they're trying to expand into the Western market with. If you think of the top 5 stars the top 5 stars, Okada, Ibushi, right? Tanahashi, Jay White, Will Ospreay. Those 5 names are not going anywhere anytime. Those are their fucking superstars. Okay, that's their, like, Will Ospreay is New Japan's Seth Rollins. Like, yeah.
And you want to know the cool thing about Will Ospreay? New Japan was his goal. He didn't want to go to WWE. He didn't want to do any of that. He wanted to go to New Japan. And you want to know how he got that spot? He wrestled Okada in England. Okada wrestled him once and was like, I like you. We're going to bring you in. And he talked to Gato and they got it done. And that's how he got his spot in New Japan. And he's fucking delivered.
See, and
then some.
I think he's going to do a lot more with AEW. He's definitely gotten over with that crowd. And as an ambassador for New Japan, like, you can't find too many people better than, like, the 5 names I mentioned. So I imagine, like, AEW fans will probably see a lot more of him, but I think it'll be more along the lines of, like, what they do with Suzuki. Like, he'll show up maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but when he does, it matters. Like, they're going to really hype it up. Like, yo, dude, Minoru Suzuki's on Dynamite this week. And you're like, oh, fuck, Murder Grandpa? Like, I got to be there, right? And I think that's how they're kind of going to do Will Ospreay, because AEW, like, anybody who is in the know knew that Will Ospreay was going to steal the show tonight or that night.
Oh, come on.
So AEW knew as soon as they put that guy in front of their audience, people are going to be like, when are you bringing that guy back? So I know Tony Khan has plans to bring Will Ospreay back to do more, but I think it's going to be like on a feature basis, because New Japan's locking that fucker down. They saw what happened with Kenny Omega. Will Ospreay is the next Kenny Omega, okay? And they let Kenny Omega slip away, and they're not making that mistake with Will Ospreay. No fucking way.
I think we're going to see him a lot more.
WWE's throwing money at him.
Oh yeah, they are. They tried. Everybody tried. I remember there was a Q&A thing with Paul Heyman in the UK. This was years ago. I want to say like 2016-ish. And he did, and Will Ospreay was just so happened to be there. And so he calls Will Ospreay on stage. You know, the crowd goes nuts, whatever. And he goes, I've got something to give you. My protege, Gabe Sapolsky, runs Evolve. And he pulls out a piece of paper and he goes, this is an Evolve contract to wrestle in the United States, exclusively for Evolve. And Will didn't take it because, well, New Japan came around.
Right.
So much better choice. But that if he did, he would have been in NXT right away, probably. You know?
Probably.
Yeah, dude. Will has quickly become one of my favorites to watch and somebody that I just can't miss.
Yeah, just the moral of the story is if you don't watch any Will Ospreay, you need to, okay? Just go do it. Like, those of us who have seen his work, I mean, I fucking was on the Will Ospreay train when he fucking made the match that destroyed Vader, right? I was like, dude, it takes some fucking crazy shit to destroy Vader, the Man Mountain machine, the mastodon from the Rocky Mountains, right? So I've been a Will Ospreay fan for a while, and I'm just kind of surprised because this is like a decade ago that shit happened.
Feels like it, huh?
Yeah, it was like, what, 2012, 2013 or some shit?
No, dude, that was like 2016, 2017.
Almost. But it's a long time ago, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah, 5-6 years, absolutely.
How have there been so many people that haven't heard about this guy yet? I'm kind of shocked how underground Will Ospreay seems to be in the wrestling fandom. I get casual fans like my wife who don't really, aren't that nerdy about wrestling. Maybe they don't know about Will Ospreay, but I'm like, dude, there's some hardcore fans that are like, I watch everything. Who is on Will Ospreay? And it's like, yo, dude, there's more wrestling than just America. Like, it's not just AEW, WWE, and Impact. Like, let me show you Noah.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, we should talk about the surprise, man. And this got me. I wasn't expecting this.
Nobody was.
Nobody was. So Ospreay is celebrating. Aussie Open come down. Gosh, man. And then all out of nowhere, you just start hearing the opening riff to Katsuyori Shibata's music. Motherfucker comes out, beats the shit out of Aussie Open, then beats the shit out of Will Ospreay. Dude.
And he looked good.
He looked great. Like, this is why I think Will's going to be in the States more, because Shibata is in LA. He's the head trainer for the LA dojo. If Shibata can actually come back and wrestle, which he did a match against Zack Sabre at Tokyo Dome this year.
Yeah,
It was supposed to just be like a grappling expedition, whatever. But they actually turned it into a match and just didn't tell anybody. But if Shibata can actually work, dude.
Yeah, like, and so when he came out, I had to pause it and explain to my wife. I was like, hold on, babe. You don't know why this is a big deal, but this guy shouldn't be in the ring right now.
No, he should have been dead.
He should not be. Yeah, like, of the people, like, so for those of you who maybe are familiar with my medical history, basically Shibata had the same injury I did.
Yup.
And he's still trying to wrestle, okay? I gave it up a long time ago because my doctor was like, yo, dude, the next back bump that goes wrong is your last one. And it's like, wait, back bump? Like, you do, like, that's the bump you do all day. And
yeah.
Basically, dude, every back bump is a ticking time bomb that will kill you. And that's where Shibata's at right now. And so when he came out, I thought he looked great. He looked fantastic. And my wife's like, yo, is he going to start wrestling? He looks really cool. And I'm like, we hope so. This is really fucking cool. Like, this guy's awesome. I don't know what their plan is with this. I thought it was a cool moment, but I'm not a fan of, like, starting angles with people that don't work. You know, like MJF versus Tony Khan is really cool, but are they going to do a match with Tony Khan? Probably not. Will Ospreay and Shibata, really cool. If anybody can get a match out of Shibata, it'd be Will Ospreay, and that's why I think this is fucking cool, because we can actually get one last Shibata retirement match, and Will Ospreay is the one that can do it.
Shibata doesn't want to retire.
No, he doesn't.
He wants to come back full time. And he's working to come back full time, like Brian did. He's trying to. Now, he had a much different issue than Brian, but yeah, we'll see. But I'll say this about the whole Shibata angle. I need Orange Cassidy and Shibata. I think that is the yin and the yang. That is your buddy cop drama. That is what I need to see more of.
Dude, have Shibata and Orange Cassidy be the Sting and Darby Allin, right?
That would be awesome.
Fucking Orange Cassidy learning from a fucking psychotic Japanese sensei who destroyed his own brain with violence.
Yeah, because he fucking headbutted Okada.
For real?
Dude, and that wasn't normal. He headbutted a lot of people. That wasn't like the first. It was just the last.
Yeah, but that one, dude, when he fucking headbutted him and you saw how much blood was pooling, right? It wasn't dripping like a normal blade job. That shit pooled in a dent in his head, and you're like, oh yeah, he probably shouldn't have done that. He looked confused after that, and I'm like, Shibata was always like. And the thing is, I hope when he comes back, he really takes serious the fact that his life has become a telltale tragedy. Because he's fucking awesome, but like he's the story that you tell wrestlers, like, hey man, don't take this shit too far because you'll end up like Shibata. And that was one thing that I was explaining to my wife. I was like, you know, he was kind of one of the guys that made Japanese strong style, like, he was the best at it. When you talk about strong style, like, it's Shibata. And it's because of, like, you know, like, he literally almost died for his art. And he should be a tragic story. Hopefully, I'm hoping he can come back. I think it'd be really cool, and I think New Japan has a roster. Like, you see what everybody does with Minoru Suzuki, you can't bump for shit. And I'm like, they could do that for Shibata. They could do that for Shibata. Like, come out, do a couple of stiff chops and kicks, and, like, you know, make it work. But it's just, is Shibata going to be satisfied with that? And that's what concerns me. Because once he gets in there, he's going to want to push the limits of what he can do. That's what he did when he was healthy, only now it can kill him.
Yeah. So hopefully, if he gets cleared, hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it's not like we got to be very extra careful with this dude.
Well, I'm just saying, I marked hard. I popped fucking out.
I marked hard.
Off.
Yeah, that was. I think my wife had stepped out to the other room, and I had to scream, "Come here!"
Right?
My kids were fucking sleeping, and I'm like, "Get over here now!" She comes out and she goes, "Oh my god!" She
Yeah.
couldn't believe Shibata came out.
Yeah, I don't think
But yeah,
anybody
man,
saw that coming.
nope, not at all. But all right, moving on. Ooh, the surprise of the night.
That wasn't
The
Shibata.
man, it wasn't Shibata. But the surprise of the night, Bryan Danielson's hand-picked opponent, or hand-picked replacement, there we go. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Zack Sabre Jr.
Dude, if there ever was a dream match to replace the dream match we lost, okay, nothing is ever going to touch the fact that we were this close to Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. And the second they announced Forbidden Door, that was the match. I said, dude, that's the one I need. I was like, Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson needs to happen. And the fact that we were that close, I was so pissed. But if we were going to have a dream match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Cesaro is the next best thing to me.
It was that good, dude. And the opening spot where he just charges in, European uppercut, and hits the neutralizer or neuralizer, whatever he calls that thing. I was like, holy shit, they're beating him already?
Right? And
man,
the thing is, okay, so like those of you that aren't familiar with New Japan or New Japan's people, like you may not. Zack Sabre Jr. is not for everybody, but if you really like wrestling, he takes the art of wrestling to another level. Like if you're just a fan of like wrestling as a martial arts exhibition, and like just if you love wrestling, like Zack Sabre Jr. is a fucking wrestler. Like you put that guy in a fucking Greco-Roman ring, he'd probably hang with those dudes. But he really, you have to see him to believe. To know what you can't do. He's the Matrix. I can't describe Zack Sabre Jr. You really have to see it, and it's like, well, what does he do? Well, he wrestles. You mean like Bryan Danielson? No, not at all like Bryan Danielson. But I want to see those two do it, man. I want to see that match. So him and Claudio, amazing. And I was excited. Zack Sabre Jr. was one of the guys that was a dark horse pick that I was really excited to see. And, like, the whole match, I'm like, me and my wife are like, he's like a fucking spider. He's an octopus. He's a snake. This dude is not human. How did he turn that into a submission hold? Fucking love Zack Sabre Jr., man.
Dude, he's the man. I was surprised when New Japan brought him in that they didn't put him in the junior heavyweight division because he's only 210 pounds. And he was even in the Cruiserweight Classic, so he had to be under 205. So he's billed at 210. Who knows what he really is? He's not.
Up,
he's the tall dude. The dude's probably like 6'1", 6'2", so he's about my height. But he's very lean. But he's put on some muscle. But he's still small for a heavyweight. But I'll be honest, if you put him in the junior division, he would stick out like a sore thumb. In the heavyweight division, he meshes perfectly. The style he is, he's not sitting there trying to powerbomb fucking Okada. No, he's trying to break Okada's ankle.
And he adds a lot of diversity. Like, I can't think of a single roster that wouldn't benefit from Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh my God, everyone would.
Nobody does. Like, the closest thing to what he does is maybe Pete Dunne. But Pete Dunne, like, he, does more biting and cheating and, eye gouging.
I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, he might be the closest, like, in WWE, but...
Well, in wrestling, like, as far as, like, the joint manipulation, the finger work, and the wrist work and
Perkins... TJ Perkins is probably someone, or TJP, whatever he's going by now.
A high flyer than a technical wrestler. He's still flies.
Yes and no. Yes and no. He's added high flying, but his base is the submission style wrestling. He's just added the high flying aspect to his repertoire. But he's very much like Zack Sabre in terms of the ground game stuff.
TJ was in New Japan now too.
He's actually half of the junior heavyweight division. Junior heavyweight tag champs. He is a part of United Empire.
Yeah,
even though Will Ospreay and all them. Yeah,
he still kind of seems like an Impact guy. He's not doing anything with Impact though. He's all in on New Japan now, right?
I don't think he's doing anything with Impact anymore. I think he's 100% with New Japan now because he has been doing New Japan Strong, and then once the travel restrictions lifted a little bit, he started going back to Japan a lot more. I mean, the dude wrestled in Japan like I think it was like 2 weeks after his 18th birthday. Like he seriously was like the youngest gaijin in Japanese history.
Yeah. So I mean, and yeah, I've always been a fan of TJP.
TJ Perkins is. I got to wrestle him once, and I've said this: he is the best person I've ever been in the ring with. Ever been in the ring with. That dude was so crisp and so light. Like I remember there was a spot where he had me on the outside of the ring and I was hunched over, and he's just like, "Hey, watch the kick," which means he's gonna come and try and kick me in the forehead. And I'm sitting there going, "Motherfucker's gonna kick my fucking head off. I better get my hand up at the very fucking least." So I'm standing there, he hits me in the gut. I'm standing there, I'm waiting for that kick to the face. I see the foot coming. I put my hand up. The dude barely touches my hand. But that swing that he came up with, like, this dude's got timing like nobody's business. I couldn't believe how hard he swung, but had enough control to just tap my hand and then came right back down with the same speed. I was like, holy shit. Like, I sold it like he fucking blew me up and I flew back into the ring apron. But, like, after the match, I was like, that should have fucking knocked me fucking for a loop and barely touched me, light as a feather. I didn't need to put my hand up and it would have looked even better.
Dang.
Dude, seriously, one of the best dudes I've ever wrestled.
If only you would have known. But back to...
It was the first time it was the first and only time we ever squared off. And everything he did was crisp. I trained with him a couple times when I went back to the EWF school while I was working still, and a couple times he ended up being the guy teaching everybody because he was just the most experienced guy in the class. And yeah, dude's on another level. He can kind of be a douche. He was always nice to me, but yeah, in ring, not many people can hang with that guy. Nope, not many people can touch what he does. But yeah, back to this one, dude. Claudio, massive pop, significant pop when he came out. Kind of bummed that they had the camera on the audience when Claudio's entrance happened.
I love that he stood next to the cameraman, because that's been my thing for so long. I'm like, dude, that cameraman's fucking Cesaro. He's gotta be. And then he comes out and he's like, look, it's not Cesaro. And I was like, shit, dude, it's like Cesaro's been fucking chilling in my house listening to me. He knows. He knows what's in my mind.
Like, dude, that was so great. When he stopped and pointed at the guy, I was like, oh my God. And my wife looked at me, she goes, I don't get it. And I was like, well, the rumor going around was that Cesaro was there, and I told him the whole thing. And she just looks at me and went, oh.
My wife loved it when he came out, and she was like, oh my God, he pointed at the cameraman, because she was like kind of buying it too. She had been watching and noticing, and she's like, I don't know, that cameraman's got a ghetto booty. He got a Cesaro booty. Cesaro would have a booty like that, and I was like, yeah, babe, I don't know, man. It seems, and we were wrong. We were so wrong.
We were.
But
yeah, man, so Cesaro won after hitting Zach with the Ricola bomb, which I'm happy he brought that back. But I'll say this about Claudio. If WWE was underutilizing him, this is his shot to prove it.
Dude, throughout the match, I was like, my wife, she's loved Cesaro since the WWE. Like, she loved the bar. She wanted to get the Toothless Aggression t-shirt. She was like, babe, we got to get this. Like, so she's excited that Cesaro's here, as am I. And I was like, she's like, man, why is he in AEW? It doesn't make sense. Like, it's cool seeing him again, because we don't really watch a lot of WWE. She's like, it's cool seeing him again, but, like, I thought he was going to be there forever. And I'm like, babe, like, literally, Vince McMahon said this guy didn't connect with the audience, and that's why they didn't want to do anything, because he just didn't have any personality and can't connect with the people. And we're watching the same match, and she's like, this guy doesn't connect with the audience? Are you kidding me?
Right?
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not Vince McMahon. I don't know. Like, you would think Cesaro would be the dream signing. He's huge. He's in shape. He's got charisma. I mean, maybe Vince just doesn't like bald people other than Stone Cold? Like, where did we go wrong here?
But you know what? So I don't think it was a matter of he didn't like him, because he left with a contract expiring, not getting released. He just didn't re-sign. they backed the truck up to him and offered him a lot of money, and he still said no.
Well,
So
you gotta think
like,
he's best friends with like half of AEW's roster. Okay,
well,
like,
and half of WWE's roster too. Like, he could have stayed there the rest of his career and had a fantastic career.
but you look
It's
at the
just he
guys.
wasn't in the plans to be the world champ. That's it.
Well, no, but you look at the guys in AEW, and it's a lot of guys he hasn't worked with since he went to
Oh yeah,
WWE, right? People forget that Cesaro was a big fucking deal on the indie scene before he signed. Like, he kind of came up with, Eddie Kingston and all. I mean, like,
he did.
and I love
He
that
did.
they touched on that.
Oh, we'll
feud.
get that.
Yeah,
we'll get
there. We'll get there. But like, Cesaro was a big name on the indie scene for a long time. Had amazing matches with guys like Orange Cassidy. The people didn't even know like Cesaro fought Orange Cassidy back in the day, kind of shit. It's like, holy fuck.
Right?
You see that shit on YouTube and you're like, holy shit. And so I think Cesaro's back because he wants to work with some of these guys again. I think it has less to do with money, and it's more like Bryan Danielson. Like, he wants to wrestle these people. Before his career's over, the door is always going to be open. He can go back to WWE at any time. But like, do I want to stay in WWE and be primarily a tag guy, maybe occasionally Intercontinental Champion, or do I want to go to AEW, maybe be the AEW champ? Probably not, but have some banger matches with some friends that I haven't worked with in like 10 years.
Absolutely.
And he had and then they fucking give him Zack Sabre Jr. to work with.
And now he's going to be in Blood and Guts.
Right? Oh, we're going to get to see Cesaro bleed. Oh.
Maybe. All right, next match. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Fatal 4-Way. The champion, Jay White, retained, defeating Adam Cole, Hangman Adam Page, and Kazuchika Okada. Man, I'll say this. I think Okada had the pop of the night.
He really did, and for somebody that a lot of people thought wasn't going to deliver, because Okada's specialty is long, like, marathon one-on-one matches.
Right.
And so a lot of people didn't think he'd deliver here, but I think he really did. He made every spot count. He was a part of a bunch of cool multi-man spots, and he got in all of his big moves. And let me tell you, the finish to this match was so fun. The end when everybody was hitting all of their fucking shit on each other. And it was like near fall after breakout, after kick out, after kick out. I fucking loved it. I loved it.
The match was awesome. I thought all four did great. They didn't make it too clunky. Just like the All Atlantic Championship match, the pacing was absolutely fantastic. And it wasn't the same type of match either as the All Atlantic match, even though it was the same 4-way. It was a lot different. You saw all four men more involved than just like 2-on-2, 1-on-1 type deal. I love the fact that Jay and Cole were paired up for a good portion of it until the literal backstabber. The fact that he backstabbed him with the backstabber, I thought was absolutely beautiful.
I like that they were split off between AEW and New Japan for most of the match. Like, we didn't get Hangman and Switchblade or Hangman and Okada for most of the match. It was mostly Hangman and Adam Cole and Switchblade and Okada fighting off as two separate pairs. And then at the end, we saw the crossover between everybody fighting everybody. And I love the slow pace of the storytelling, how everybody was kind of separated, and it was almost like four different superstars.
Mm-hmm.
This reminded me of Final Four, the WWE match with Bret Hart, Undertaker, Stone Cold, and Vader. This had that energy for me where it felt like four superstars really fighting it out in a match that really highlighted all four and could have gone with anybody.
Absolutely. I was picking Jay from the jump. I just felt with him just winning it back on the 12th of this month, I felt like he should have kept it. But dude, I want to see Okada more on the US. The fact that he got the biggest pop of the night to me is like, we need to see him more.
Yeah.
In the US. But man, the finish, dude. I feel bad because I've watched this match twice now. If you go back and watch it, and I think this is why the finish fell really flat. And I know Cole got hurt, so maybe it had a lot to do with it. But so the finish was, like you said, everyone's hitting their shit. Finally, it's just Cole and Okada. Okada gets him in the Rainmaker, pushes him out, but as he goes to clothesline him, Cole collapses. here's the problem that and then Jay slides in, gives the Blade Runner to Okada, and pins Cole. Here's where the problem I saw was when Cole collapsed from the Rainmaker, he rolled away and then was like fixing his hair, pushing it back, kind of checking, like kind of doing stuff.
Yeah, he wasn't
like
it.
collapse and like just laid flat on the ground, which is what he probably should have done. So you see him kind of like rolling over, pulling up a knee pad, getting his hair out of his face, and then Jay White just rolls him over and pins him 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Cole was hurt, and the rumor is concussion, but I don't know for sure. They haven't officially confirmed anything.
He probably didn't even know that he wasn't selling it properly.
And that could be absolutely it, because you even see him start to kick out a little bit in that finish, and then he lifts his shoulder and puts it back. It's more than likely he was concussed and just didn't know what he was doing. That could be it, because like I said, if he had just collapsed, fell down, Jay slides in, Blade Runner, rolls Cole over, 1, 2, 3, I think that would have been a much better match or a much better finish and would have looked cleaner than rolling over, pulling up a knee pad, getting the hair out of your face, and then taking the fall.
Yeah, I think the camera work and Jay and Okada covered up most of that. Sure. I didn't catch that he was fixing his knee pad. I know that he rolled over to the almost to the apron, but like I didn't know he was like grooming, his hair and shit over there. So yeah,
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it on the first watch, but on the second watch I caught it and I was like, oh yeah, that would have taken me out of the moment too if I would have seen that and been like, wait a minute, he was just playing with his hair. Why is he not kicking out now?
Yeah, that's probably more of a problem for the people that saw it live, because I didn't catch that. I thought that finish was excellent because it kind of made, like, it's still left open for, Switchblade and Okada. That's not done yet. They're still going to go, and I love that. I want to see more out of them. And it also left open Hangman and Okada and Hangman and Switchblade, right? So, like, because the original tease was Hangman and Okada, and then we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because Switchblade threw a wrench in things and fucked up our dream match, and I love that.
I think it's awesome that we didn't get it.
Yeah, I love that the story is that Jay White fucked up the fucking dream match that we wanted, but we still, it's still on the back burner, and hopefully Forbidden Door 2 we'll get the actual Hangman versus Okada we were hoping for. Honestly, I'm hoping that with this it leads to Hangman versus Okada in New Japan.
Yes.
And they send Hangman over there, and they just do more talent exchanges like that. I know Orange Cassidy regularly goes over to New Japan. Wheeler Yuta just did the Super Juniors. There's a couple of AEW guys doing G1, I think. Bryan Danielson's trying to do G1 this year?
He wanted to, but I think the injury took him out. But it's Lance Archer. Lance Archer's the only one from AEW doing the G1. But with this match, I actually want to see Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club go at it. The fact that Jay pinned Cole, I think that's where I think we might be able to get, like you were mentioning on last week's show, getting the Civil War, the Bullet Club Civil War. I think we're going to get Undisputed Elite versus Bullet Club.
I think that's where they're going with Kenny Omega's return, is like Kenny Omega's going to come back, because Kenny Omega and Jay White aren't done. They've still got beef to settle.
Yeah, Jay White actually took the U.S. title off of Kenny. And I don't think
they
ever did a rematch.
And kicked him out of Bullet Club, too.
I don't think... Did they ever do a full kick out of Kenny? I just think that he just left. I don't think they actually did the kick out of Bullet Club. But I could be wrong.
Right? We're talking like years and years back of...
Yeah, we're talking like 3.5, 4 years ago now.
Japanese wrestling knowledge. So we may be a little... But I think that's what it's like heading towards, is like the Bullet Club versus the Elite, and that will be like the main thing going into Forbidden Door 2. They've got a year to build to that. And so I think that's really, really cool, especially with Adam Cole's live loyalties being tested, right? Kenny Omega doesn't like him. Okay, now Jay White doesn't like him. It seems he only really gets along with the Young Bucks and Red Dragon, who don't like each other. And so it's definitely made the Adam Cole stuff. I'm like touch and go with Adam Cole, man. Like I honestly don't really care for most of his matches, but I love his like character work. He's always caught up in some of the hottest angles, and like he always like delivers the hype. It's just like in the actual ring, it's like, dude, he just does knee strikes and super kicks. Like, he's not really like that great of a fucking wrestler. But like his matches are always fun. And so
Yeah.
that's how I am with Adam Cole, is it's like I like that this is kind of more of a story build thing of like,
Right.
is Adam Cole loyal to the Bullet Club or the Elite, even though everybody hates him. I'm feeling it, and the finish with Jay White pinning him just extends that even more. And I love that this whole matchup, the story of this matchup is really Okada versus the Bullet Club, because you think everybody in that match was in the Bullet Club except for Okada, who has had problems with the Bullet Club his whole fucking career. So I just love that this was basically the Bullet Club implosion match.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's awesome, man. I can't wait to see what comes of it in both AEW and New Japan. It's going to be a minute because we got injuries to Cole and we got injuries to a lot of people, so we'll have to see what happens. But all right, man. Last match
The main
for the
event.
interim AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley is now a 2-time AEW World Champion by defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi.
That boy bled.
I gotta
like
say
a pig.
this. Oh, dude, he bled like a stuck pig. I gotta say this though. Tana, and I noticed this when he came out during the thing with Punk. Man, he looks like he's hurt. He walks like his hips. Something's up with his hips.
Well,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Even his match at Dominion, it looked like, and he did some crazy shit at Dominion. But like even then, you could tell he was a little rough, and I think that's probably why Moxley went over. As much as I wanted a Tana run, like after seeing him last night, yeah, man, I think he's busted up. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what didn't dawn on me until after Forbidden Door? The G1 starts in a couple of weeks. There's no way they're gonna let their world champ be gone for over a month without being on TV. He wouldn't even be back until All Out.
Nah, that makes sense.
I didn't think about that, and if I had, my pick would have been Moxley, because yeah, I wanted Tana. I think that would have been a great ambassador between the two companies, especially if he's only going to hold it for a month or two. But hey, maybe if Moxley's got it, maybe it's because Punk's a little bit longer away than we thought. Maybe he won't be back by All Out.
Well, it looks like they're already going with Moxley and Jericho too. Is like their next big feud. I think that's probably going to headline the next pay-per-view if Punk isn't back in time. It's probably Jericho Moxley too, which I think will be excellent. It'll probably be a death match because like it just seems like that's the one thing those two. I mean, they like what are they going to do to top Moxley Jericho 1? It was an excellent match. Like they've got to raise the stakes.
Blood and guts on Wednesday.
Yeah, they've got to raise the stakes. It looks like that's the direction they're going in. I'm glad that if there was somebody that was going to be the first two-time champ, it was Moxley. I seriously thought it would be Jericho or Omega or Hangman. I thought that there were a bunch of people that they were going to put the belt on before they went back to somebody, and if they went back to somebody, it would have been Hangman or Kenny Omega or Jericho, just because Jericho was the first champ. So I'm shocked it was Mox, but I like it. I like Mox as the champ. He never like legit lost the match. He's one of the few guys that's like hardly ever been cleanly pinned in AEW.
And how great is that? Like here's a guy coming in that they made their guy. Mox was a former WWE champion and he was there for a number of years, but he was never the man. Even when he was the champ, he wasn't above who they thought was the man at the time, which I believe was Roman. But here he was given the shot to be the face of the company. And I think he's retained being one of the faces of the company with like Jericho and Kenny and such. But yeah, man, I thought this match was fun. It was really hard for me to watch Tanahashi. I've been watching Tana regularly for about 6-7 years now. I first saw him back in like 2008, I want to say it was. He had one of his Wrestle Kingdom matches. And I loved seeing Tana's stuff with Okada. The Tana-Okada feud I thought was just probably the best thing New Japan's done since I've been watching. But man, it's hard. You could just tell it. Either he's just banged up or he's nearing the end here. And it wouldn't shock me if he's nearing the end. I think we're on, like 20 years of him wrestling almost.
I could see him going part-time. I could see him kind of doing like what Suzuki's doing. He shows up here and there for like a hype moment and then doesn't bump as much. Probably bump more than Suzuki will, Bo.
I think he's going to become kind of like what they call them, the New Japan dads. It's Yuji Nagata, it's Satoshi Kojima, it's the guys who kind of do the Young Lion matches. So you see them in their 6-man matches against the Young Lions a lot. And I think like Tana's going to end up going down that. Exactly. And I think that's what's going to end up happening is he'll be in matches with Kojima, Hiroshi Tenzan, Yuji Nagata, those guys. I think we're going to see more of Tana in that regard as just kind of like, yeah, he used to be our top star, but we're still keeping him around. He's teaching the young kids how to wrestle instead of being the world champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was still a fun match. I didn't really care for the blade job only because I know what it was from. Mox did a bunch of Bryan Danielson tributes. He did the stomps where he's holding the wrists.
Yeah.
And then he did the chest kicks. But then Tana grabbed Mox's wrists and started doing the head stomps. And they just didn't look great, but that's what caused the blood. So when Mox rolled out and I was like, oh man, I was like, yeah, he bladed him. I'm like, damn it, the kick that was supposed to bust him open didn't look great. But dude, he had a fucking gusher.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
I still thought it looked good. Tana's high fly flows are starting to look a little rough. Again, people were still hyped for Tana. It's still Hiroshi Tanahashi. I
mean, you gotta think, dude. There's a lot of people that this is probably the only chance they would have ever gotten to see him live. Like,
absolutely.
How often does he tour America? He's done like what, 2 tours of America ever?
Outside of like these big shows, it's not very common. I saw him, man. I saw him and Kota Ibushi. Was it him and Ibushi? No, it was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi. I saw that match at Madison Square Garden. Fucking awesome. Back in 2019. But hey, I'm hoping it's just Tana kind of being a little bit banged up, because I haven't seen much of his stuff in the last couple of years. But I hope it's just him being banged up and we get a little bit more Tana stuff out of it. But dude, yeah, Mox won, hit the Death Rider, and then the big brawl to set up Blood and Guts, and the shining light of that entire brawl was between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli.
Right, they touched on that feud. Those two don't like each other. Dude, I'm telling you, the Blackpool Combat Club is slowly but surely turning into like the NWO. Right? The logo looks similar, and now it's like, who's the mysterious third man? And now they're having a Blackpool kind of teasing some beef in there with Eddie Kingston trying to light Bryan Danielson on fire, and then now they've got Claudio, and he hates Claudio, and like Eddie Kingston oh man, like the fact that this isn't done with Jericho in the slightest, the fact that Eddie Kingston is starting to turn into a dark horse. I'm loving the Blackpool Combat Club, and after last night, I remember telling my wife, like, hey, I think we need to get Blackpool shirts now. I think we need those in our life now.
That was what I wanted to get when we went to Double or Nothing, and I don't recall seeing a single Blackpool Combat Club shirt.
Right. Anyways, this is probably the longest episode we have ever
Holy
done.
Shit.
We are going to cut it here after having covered the whole pay-per-view. All in all, though, I've got to say, Forbidden Door, I can't think of any pay-per-view coming that can top what we got. Like, I feel like this is the peak of wrestling for the year.
I saw a lot of comparisons. People said it's the best pay-per-view since Double or Nothing, and I would give it to them. It was fantastic, top to bottom. Do I wish there was a little bit more storyline behind some of the matches? Sure, but this was very much a Japanese-style pay-per-view where somebody comes out, calls out the champ, you get a title shot, and that's typically how the New Japan shows go. I was over the moon with the matches, top to bottom. Every match was good to great. And I have zero complaints about this show. Absolutely no complaints about this show. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm all in on it.
Right.
All in, literally. But yeah, great show. I would give it, if I rated things, 2 thumbs up.
If I were if I were going to rate it, I would say pay-per-view of the year, 2 thumbs up, like 70
22,
stars.
absolutely.
I think it was probably, as somebody who loves the art of wrestling as a live spectacle, like, Forbidden Door is probably one of the best live events I've seen top to bottom.
Right.
Like,
Period.
there was hardly any build, and yet nobody that watched the show felt disappointed. Like, it was like, yo, man, we're going to go out there, and we're just going to show everybody what we've got. If you're watching from Japan, you get to see what AEW's got, and if you're watching from America, you get to see all these New Japan guys you'd never heard of, you'd only heard about in rumors, and everybody came out and brought their hardest, and it just goes to show that you don't need sports entertainment to have a good wrestling show. Just let these guys wrestle.
My wife even said something. She's like, I'm surprised they didn't do a, New Japan versus AEW thing. And I said, that's that WWE brain kicking in, because that's what they would have done. But I said, no. I said, the fact that the matches were intermixed, you had New Japan and AEW guys teaming up. I was like, you really couldn't do it. But yeah, it best show of 22 so far. Absolutely.
Hopefully we get more. But with that, we're going to be signing off. Want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. Make sure you show up to our other social media places. I got another YouTube channel where I do video game stuff, and a Twitter and a Twitch. There should be links in descriptions or something or other.
I don't do anything else other than this. So come find me on Twitter. I actually live tweeted a lot of Forbidden Door, even though I realized the next day that my hashtag had multiple B's when it should have just been one. But hey, is what it is. But yeah, come find me, Ryan Stone SD.
All right, and with that, continue to watch wrestling and smoke weed, ladies and gentlemen. We out this bitch. Scissor me, daddy ass. You got cut out there. Sorry, sir.
You motherfucker.